So this afternoon we're going to hear a sonata by Josef Rheinberger, and he's a composer who is not heard as often as he should be. So I'm going to say a few things about him before I actually play the piece. We think of him as a German, but he was actually born in Liechtenstein, but he did soon move to Germany. He spent most of his life in Munich. By the age of 14, he was already working in a church as an organist, and he was quite the prodigy and became a really pretty fabulous virtuoso on the piano and organ. But he had an illness, I believe it was diabetes, and had a injury to his right hand, which didn't heal, and it pretty much curtailed his performing. So he then switched to still composing and teaching composition. He composed 20 sonatas for the organ. He was actually trying for 24. He wanted to write one in every key. He didn't quite make it, but he almost made it. As a teacher, he taught a lot of really famous people. He taught the conductor Furtwängler, who said that Rheinberger was really the greatest composer, the greatest teacher of composition at the time. And a lot of Americans went to Germany to study with him. The organist at the Bethlehem Bach Festival went and studied with him. And as a matter of fact, in Bethlehem, there is a copy of Rheinberger's realization of the continuo part for the St. John's Passion. I went to Susquehanna University for my undergraduate, and the music building there is called Heilman Hall. And years ago, when I played Rheinberger Concerto with the orchestra there, one of the faculty members told me that Mr. Heilman had studied with Rheinberger, so he had quite an influence. And the organ sonatas at the end of the 19th century were known as among the greatest organ works of the time. Nowadays, we hardly know them. We usually don't even hear them complete. Now, why is this? The reason partly is because Rheinberger, like Bach, was an academic. He was someone who held to earlier styles. And by the early 20th century, people were wanting to move on to a different kind of style. Nowadays, we're starting to look back and we're examining this music. One of the problems with looking at Rheinberger's music now is that his music is really strongly dependent on the performance practices of the time of the 19th century, which were quite different from the ways we were taught to play music even when I was in college. So it takes, to play this music effectively, you cannot play it. The modern tendency is to try to objectively play a score and try to reach some ideal of what we think the composer wanted. But that was not the way that they played music in the 19th century. The score was only part of it, and the musician was intended to invest a lot of themselves into it and really interpret the score in a way that we don't do nowadays. So you have to go back and you have to be willing to really invest yourself in the music and make it partly yourself. So I'm going to now attempt to try to connect with some of the real passion of Rheinberger and let you perhaps experience some of the 19th century in this really wonderful music.